when you're out there in the woods, you don't have all the things that an ambulance has. You don't have all the pieces of equipment that an emergency room has. So we have to make do with what we do have, which may be some good layers of insulation, some tarps, some ways to keep somebody warm and dry while we monitor them throughout the night.
We have EMTs, nurses, physicians, everybody with extensive wilderness emergency medicine training. And anything that a fire department or ambulance company would do in an urban environment, at home, in an office, or on the streets, we're trained to do in the austere environment of a wilderness in any weather.
We've had them out in pouring down rain, in snowstorms, driving to Florence, upriver, up the McKenzie, here at the fairgrounds. Truly, whenever we have needed them, they've come out and helped us.
So we received a call sometime in the afternoon on the 22nd of December about a child and her grandparents that had gone out the previous day to cut some Christmas trees. They got up into an area where there was some snow, but it also happened to be during that windstorm on the Monday night. And as trees were blowing around and snow was starting to fly, they decided to drive farther into the snow to get away from trees that were falling down. This left them in a place where their car got stuck. We started looking at some cell phone data, try to figure out where they might be. We got a little bit of information, but it really led nowhere useful that first night. We had several paid deputies up there helping drive around, and we had about 8 of our volunteers in different vehicles. We're out driving till late at night, search and rescue volunteers in their personal vehicles and 4-wheel drives. But these Forest Service roads that we have in Lane County, once you get onto one of the main lines, they fork into hundreds and hundreds that lead to thousands of miles. It takes a long time to go down each spur road. You just don't know where somebody might have gone. Here in Lane County, we're really lucky to have great relationships with lots of our partnership agencies. Folks like the Coast Guard, the Civil Air Patrol, the Air Force, and even local agencies. The state police were offering aircraft to fly the area. It was sometime around noon that we received word from the Coast Guard helicopter on scene that they had located a vehicle matching the description just a few hundred yards, maybe a half mile from where one of our teams on the ground was driving. They were all in good health. They'd stayed in the car 2 nights. The 5-year-old had been taken care of really well by her grandparents. Her biggest frustration during the whole thing was that she wasn't allowed to go out and play in the snow because she really wasn't feeling like it was an emergency, because they did a good job of keeping things calm and keeping things safe there. We were able to get them out of the area, bring them back down, have them checked out, and send them home that day. And it was the 23rd of December, so a real good Christmas present for that whole family to have them back home and safe.
Shortly after the new year, when vaccines started to arrive in Lane County Public Health was starting to make plans for how they would distribute those vaccines efficiently to the public. They reached out to Lane County Search and Rescue because we have tents and equipment available, and we also have 200 volunteers that are already trained, already credentialed.
I can honestly say we could not have done any of this without Lane County Search and Rescue. Our emergency response to COVID from the beginning has been interwoven with the work that they do. They've figured out our front gate systems, our traffic systems. There's never been anything that we've asked of them that they haven't been able to deliver. There's just a couple staff people, and everyone else is here for their weekends, their nights, because they want to be, because they want to give back to the community. We're vaccinating 2,600 people a day. That's quite an operation, and between their EMTs who are able to help vaccinate and their experts who are working the line, finding ways to be efficient, it's really been an amazing operation to do with them.
Now that all 3 drive-through sites are up and running well, we're transitioning more and more to the role of doing one-day pop-up clinics.
Where we know there are pockets of people who are hard to reach, people who might have a hard time coming down to the fairgrounds, might have mobility issues, or live in Florence or remote parts of the county.
We became capable of delivering hundreds and up to even 1,000 doses in a day of vaccine as our team, on top of the public health drive-thrus. Our whole program is just 2.25 employees, but from that, with 200 volunteers that in a normal year provide over 20,000 hours of volunteer service to the community. And this year we're only 3 months in, and we're already a quarter of the way to what our normal year would be in one particular event. All of the normal search and rescue things continue to happen, but we've had just this one vaccine effort has been 4,500 hours so far, and we're nowhere near the end yet.
We had a call from a person that was complaining about being out in the weather and needing some assistance. So we went up to the area. We were able to locate a vehicle nearby where the call was coming from. Spent most of the day searching on foot, calling for someone. Weren't able to make any voice contact. We did find some footprints that looked pretty fresh in the snow on a Forest Service road, but we're unable to locate the person that day. The next day we had a canine team out that was working a creek drainage in the area, and just at dusk they heard what they thought was a person making some kind of sounds. The canine handler that was actually the one that located the subject, he was only 30 or 40 yards away, but due to a fast-moving, swollen creek, he wasn't able to just make that 30 yards and get to the subject. We had teams move into the area and do a medical assessment. He had been out there for, this would be the third night. Some of the things that this person was experiencing is just a lack of food, probably some dehydration. He had been in an environment that was cold for several days now. He was wet, so the body really just starts to break down. He wasn't able to move. He wasn't able to really get up and walk around anymore. So we made the decision that we needed to use a helicopter to get that person out safely, but none of the helicopters that were available in the state that have hoist capabilities were able to come that night. So the team made a plan to stabilize him and stay with him throughout the night until the morning when a helicopter could arrive. Coast Guard helicopter came in the next morning, was able to make contact with our teams in the field, lower down a rescue swimmer and a litter, load the patient up, and then hoist him up to the helicopter. They used the vast majority of the cable that they had on board. I believe they used about 210 of the 218 feet that they had on board the helicopter to make that lift.
The mission of search and rescue is to save lives, most particularly in any environment where other agencies aren't able to.
So we go out there and look for people because they need our help. We have a lot of calls in our wilderness areas, 7 different wilderness areas here in Lane County. We respond to neighboring counties and assist them on calls pretty regularly, and it's really a mutual aid arrangement. We work on evidence searches, we work on missing people, fire department assist calls, we work on disasters. So there's just so many aspects and it's our volunteers. Obviously they're not in it for the money. They're in it because there are people out there that need help.
The fact that we are able to have 15 or more volunteers with high-level emergency medical care licensure be part of the broader wilderness medicine community worldwide and take that really cutting-edge knowledge and techniques and apply them to help our community here in Lane County is very valuable and very hard to duplicate anywhere else.